we have a very exciting battle royal, including Landon Hill, DJ Crawford. Are you serious? Ashley Vox making her return. The Hardcore Jesus, Alexander Lee. Oh my goodness, we got Seabass Finn, the Human Monster Truck, Perry Von Vicious. We got Mordor. My God. Coming back. Puff in the house. And the man who runs the streets. Hazard. And many, many, many more. As we get ready for Vacationland Cup, we also have plenty of other matches to talk about coming all to you this Saturday. Live on IWTV or Yarmouth, Maine, it's Limitless Crunch Time. Welcome, everybody. So today we are going to talk Limitless Wrestling Crunch Time. I mean, this is one of the premier events, I feel, leading up to Vacationland Cup. We have so much excitement, so much happening. It's just wild, okay? You got the last chance battle royal taking place, okay? And a winner will get to enter the 2024 Vacationland Cup. We have a Landon Hill, a tremendous athlete, great wrestler. We have the Fast Bulldog, Dave Dyer, another tremendous athlete and wrestler. We got Paris Van Dale. She's been up and coming really all over New England, just really taking, honestly, wrestling by storm. I've seen her in so many great promotions, from Northeast Championship Wrestling to Limitless to Chaotic, and she always delivers. We got one of my personal favorites, the Silver Sniper, TJ Crawford. Okay? He is entering this. Coming back to pro wrestling, the real catch, Ashley Vox. Can't wait for that. Okay, I got to see her at Blitzkrieg Pro, and man, it was exciting. The pop she got, people were just all over it. Very exciting. Jay Haru will be in action as well. One of my personal favorites, another one too. I have a lot of personal favorites, if you don't already know. Limitless is I like everybody on this roster, but he was one of my favorite interviews. Real chill. Donkey Boy Bandit. Also got Mortar in the house. I used to watch him and Max tag up, back Chaotic, and then I've really just seen him flourish as solo and just take on New England full force. Perry Von Vicious will be there. The Human Monster Truck. Alexander Lee, the Hardcore Jesus. Coming back again, Puff. This is one of the guys I have to say, he's, synonymous to me with indie wrestling. When I first went to my first Beyond show, Puff came out and he did this really, really cool spot with Garcia and Blackwood, and they did a triple choke slam. Really fun. And I was just all about it. A lot of good things happening for Puff. One of my favorites as well. Another one of my favorites too, though. Like I said, I have many favorites in this. I really don't know who I want to see win. I think if anybody wins, I'll be happy. Hazard, the one and only, and Seabass Finn. And again, we've talked to some of these guys. We've had Donkey Boy Bandit on. We've talked with Perry Von Vicious. We've talked with Mortar. We've talked with Hazard. We've had some great interviews at the VSW podcast with some of these guys and girls. And honestly, this is a very exciting matchup. Last chance, Battle Royal. The winner will get that 2024 Vacationland Cup. And that's a big deal. That's a really big, big deal. Not only for, the prestige of, it, but being in it, but you get a chance. You get a big chance. And it's their biggest show of the year. And this year's Vacation Land Cup is like none other. It's taking place at the Coliseum in Lewiston, Maine. It's going to be a big deal. It's a big venue. We're getting big names. It's going to be wild. But this is all leading up to it. That Road to Vacation Land Cup. Here's another personal favorite matchup that's going to be taking place this Saturday. And honestly, I really like this guy from when I first saw him. I haven't seen him again wrestle, and I'm happy that he's back. And that is the Southern Flamingo, Cody Lane. I really like the whole gimmick. I like the whole attitude. He was impressive in ring. He was in I believe a 4-way match or four-way match. And he really showed up. Let's flash forward again to when I get to see him again. He's going to be facing the one and only Rip Bison. And I feel like this is going to be a very hard-hitting match. Rip Bison is a very hard hitter. He can brawl with the best of them, but he's also learned a lot of new tricks in Japan. You got to remember him, Perry, they've been out in Japan, contract, they've been back and forth. They've, learned a lot about the Japanese style of wrestling and bringing that back to the States and incorporating that in their style, in their way they wrestle. So this is, going to be a really good matchup between these two. And honestly, I'm really excited to see Rip. I haven't seen him in forever either. Bad time and just, baby or, him in Japan. But yeah, this will be one of those battles I think that's going to impress. And again, I like seeing Cody Lane. We don't see him enough. We also have, a brood or a feud going on with Aaron Rock and Ricky Smokes, and they've been doing the pick your poison. I do believe Aaron Rock is scheduled to face somebody. I'm not sure. But they will be facing each other at Vacation Land Cup. That's Ricky Smokes taking on Aaron Rock. And you remember, they were all part of Art at one time with Aver Everett. And Aver, I think held it down for them, but was also, kind of the one that would keep everybody at bay. The Eagles started to flail and fly, and everybody went their separate ways. And with rightfully so, everybody's an individual superstar with a lot of talent. Aaron Rourke is one of the top wrestlers in New England. So is Ricky Smokes. And so is Aver Everett. But, this is going to be something really, 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 really special taking place. Because on this Pick Your Poison match, we're going to have Ricky Smokes taking on the one and only, very evil Dan Hausen. I love Dan Hausen. Now, he was in Limitless last month, I know, up in Herman, Maine, and they decided to bring him back again. Very excited. I haven't seen him since he was here the last time. Speaking of Aver Everett, that's who he faced. He faced Aver Everett in a one-on-one match, and there was a lot of great moments. I was actually just watching some of those clips the other day. Really, just a great match. And I love Dan Hausen. He's just such a character in and out of the ring. So this is going to be a really good matchup versus Ricky Smokes. Ricky is, a top contender in New England, really well trained, coming out of New England Pro Academy. One of the premier schools in pro wrestling in this area. There's a bunch, obviously. You got the Limitless Dojo up north, and you have others as well that are out there that are very, well known and have put out stars. But these are the big names, right? Beyond Wrestling School, Chaotix Wrestling School, New England Pro Wrestling Academy, and Limitless Dojo. And honestly, Ricky's probably a top star out there. He has everything in the makings of being, a world champion. But now he's going to have one of the biggest fights for his life. That's against Dan Hausen. I've seen him do evil things. I've seen him use magic. I've seen him do tricks. But he's also a really good wrestler. So it's going to be a great test. It's going to be a great test to Ricky and to what he can do. And it'll really prove why he deserves to be in Vacation Land Cup. You also are going to have And this is, something that's been kind of building and building and building and building and building. Because we've seen triple threat matches. We've seen it. We've seen it all. And these are, two top wrestlers. JT Dunn, been probably with Limitless since day one, right? The house he built. This guy, he's been champion in many places. Not Limitless, but he's been, chaotic champion. He's been other champions and other promotions. And he really is, one of New England's top stars. I've been critical of him. Sometimes I find him to be a little boring, maybe, depending on what the role of what he has to do. I like when he plays a bad guy. I like when he's the bad guy. I like when he's, running the unit, or he's running the squad, or he's doing his thing. When he tries to do the whole CM Punk thing, it's kind of like, no. But with either which way he goes, the in-ring ability is there, and he's very talented. But he's taking on somebody that's very talented, very over, and can draw energy like no other, and that's Big Boo for Desmond Cole. And these two have been feuding for quite a long time. Even the last time I went to Limitless, I believe, they were, it was in a triple threat, or they were fighting. And these two, again, have been top contenders for that world title. They've really built a feud. And this will be a Vacation Land Cup qualifier. So one of these people will be going on to Vacation Land Cup. One of them will not be. And, this is where it all is right here, okay? This is where it all, begins or ends for one of these two guys. You just are not going to have very much, success if you don't win one of these. If one of these people don't win, the other person, they're not going to Vacation Cup. So if they want to, progress their career right now, this is going to be, their destiny. They have to win this match. It's really do or die match for them. I feel like they've had their shots, they've had their titles. If they don't do it now, they'll never do it. So this match is more important, I think, than people really realize. And it's going to be incredible. It really is. It's just going to be a tremendous pro wrestling match. Let's see if we can find any other news while we're here. Limitless always putting out little things. Because if we talk about Vacation Land Cup, we already got some people that have qualified for that, right? We've got Aiden Agro already qualified. We remember, Aiden has had a very interesting year. He's turned on his, basically lifelong tag team partner, Danger Kid, and destroyed MSP. And he's been on, a very good winning streak. He's got a new cocky attitude. So he's already qualified. Aaron Rourke has already qualified for Vacation Land Cup. Ricky Smokes has already qualified for the Vacation Land Cup as well. And Alec Price, former Limitless World Champion, has qualified already for the Vacation Land Cup. So we got two more people joining in, or whatever, however it's going to be, and then there we go. And this is going to be, like I said, very, very interesting. We also have Gabby Forza being announced. And I saw that she was on her way, doing something at Limitless. And again, that will be great. I really like, her. She was another one that came on my podcast and really just delivered. I love the whole gimmick. I love the attitude. I love it all. Creative Pro is another great school. It's a little bit far for me to get to. But it's another one of those premier schools that just put out stars. They just put out stars. And look at that. They actually have another book out, the 2024 Almanac, which will have results, the numbers by years, list of first, year-end awards, less wrestle results, fun facts, and more. Written by Michael Lab. He's also the one that wrote the first 5 years, of Limitless and all the history. He's great. Very exciting, though. Very exciting things, and they will be for sale. So much stuff. And that will bring us now to talk a little bit about... Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention that as well. Also on Vacation Land Cup announced is going to be Scotty 2 Hottie. And it's going to be such, like I said, an event. Who knows what's going to happen there? Vacation Land is always a very big thing. But this year, it's even bigger. It's in a bigger venue, more people, more press, more everything. I mean, there's been news articles and everything about, Randy Carvin, what he's done and what Limitless Wrestling has done for the, the scope of in the community and everything. And you have to love what has taken place over the last years, and what, has really been established here. And it all comes down to that. You have world-class Channing Thomas, they're world champion of Limitless. And, he's been doing a great job, but that has such a rich heritage of winners. I mean, you have MJF, Anthony Green, Christian Casanova, Daniel Garcia, Alec Bryce, Rip Bison, Big Beef, all these people, right? And then, you have the Let's Wrestle champion, BRG, which Let's Wrestle is, it's a little bit further up in Maine. They're, they use a little bit more of the students, but it's a very, competitive wrestling promotion. The top wrestlers are there. And BRG is definitely one of them. He's been everywhere. We saw him before in Prestigious again, and that's what we're going to, kind of talk a little bit about. Because, at one point, these guys were synonymous with each other. And I remember them, watching them elsewhere, not in Limitless, before they came and made it to Limitless even. And both of them have been on my show. Those interviews, it took place as well. And we talked about this in the defining moments of getting to Limitless. It was both on their list of things to do. They really wanted to get to that promotion. It's a premier promotion. A lot of people do, and, it's one thing to get somewhere, and it's also another thing to become successful somewhere. And both of them have done that in their own right. But when they came in, they were a trios. And first they were tag, Prestige, and Prestigious. I don't even remember at this point. They were tag team, though. And then they ended up teaming up with John Albert and Mac Daniels as a trios. And then, John Albert took him under his wing. And John Albert's, doing great right now. I listen to him all the time. He talks wrestling, has his own thing with Matt Hardy going, and all this other stuff. And, he's done really good. But he had some time in Limitless, and it was a great time. And, he had some matches. He was trying to recruit for these guys. It was a good period in Limitless history for me. I really like that part. But yeah, so... we got him to, come on our show, actually, at one point and talk, and he was telling us about, what wrestling meant to him and such. But, yeah, so he brought all these guys together, and at some point they all turned, and everybody fought each other, and we had magic, and people, fighting and one-on-one, and that's kind of been the career paths of BRG and Chang. They've been friends, they've been enemies, they've been friends, they've been enemies. Doesn't matter where, Top Rope, NCW, NEW, wherever they've gone, they've, had this kind of competitive but friendly relationship. And now you got title against title. It's unprecedented in Limitless history. This is like WrestleMania, 6 happening. Hulk Hogan, as the world champion, and Ultimate Warrior as the, Intercontinental champion, and they're going head to head. And one of these people, are going to walk out with both, and one's going to walk out with nothing, and and something's going to happen. And this is a really big going to be event. These both guys can wrestle with the best of them. Tremendous wrestlers, unbelievable wrestlers. And I've seen BRG as a world champion when he was in NCW. He held that down and like no other. It didn't matter if you were big or small. He's not the biggest statured guy, but he could take you down and he would take you out and he could go to no ends to retain or to win. And he'll do whatever it takes. Same thing for Channing. And with Channing, he has, something a little extra. He has Sidney Bacabella outside. Former WWF Hall of Famer Sidney Bacabella, decided at some point to take Channing Thomas under his wing. And when that happened, the natural Channing Thomas became really world class. And things really changed for him. And he became on the up and up. And he got this, this win and this victory. And he did what he had to do. And honestly, Channing Thomas has been one of, I think, an amazing champion. He really holds the title proud. He's been a great wrestler all around, everywhere. Whether it be, like I said, wherever it's been, he's been, a top champion. And honestly, I feel like he's about to move on somewhere. He has all the makings to move on. He has all, everything about him. He was rumored to be, the next breakout star at one point, and it still could be true. And BRG, the same thing, though. Either one of them, they're just really on top of their game. This is going to be probably one of the best wrestling matches of the year. I don't know, like I said, what's in store for Vacation Link Cup, but this match right here is going to be very hard to top. But, some thoughts have crossed my mind. What happens if Matt Daniels comes in and interferes and we don't have a winner? What happens if somebody else comes in, interferes? What happens, how does this work? Does somebody get cheated? Is it going to be a clean victory? We don't know. It's going to be a lot of factors in this. And it might not end here. We don't know when it will, this story might not end here, but we do know it's going to begin here. And like I said, we're in for a treat. This whole night, crunch time, we're in for a treat. Limitless Wrestling is always delivered, no matter what. They've always, really pushed it to the next level as far as what indie wrestling should and can be. And, they continue to do so, especially with the Vacation Cup, moving it to a bigger location, moving it to the Coliseum. It doesn't get, bigger and better than that right now. It really feels like I'm going to, a WWE pay-per-view or something, because I've looked at the venue and it looks like a venue for a major promotion. And to me, Limitless is a major promotion. Same with Beyond and a few others, in New England are just on top, right? And they kind of, set the standard and set the level and set the bar of what that level of pro wrestling is. And of course, there's many promotions that are under that level and some that are even lower than that. But they set the bar of the standard of this is what we can be and this is how great we can be. And the people that are watching that are like, wow. New England does have some of the best wrestlers, wrestling, and schools in this area. They just do. Some of the best trainers. I mean, and partly that's luckily because we've had, great work, people like Killer Kowalski out here teaching people and also other great teachers now. And, even New England Pro Academy, they've taken two of the top wrestlers in New England. Dijak and Anthony Green, and they made them head trainers over there. I mean, how can you even go wrong with that? You can't. You can't. There's no way to. And that's the level of wrestling, that is there. That's the level that, these people are on and learning at and coming out of, schools, almost ready to go on to TV. They're that good, a lot of them. You look at people like Ricky Smokes. You look at people like, Aaron Rourke. At one point they were, starting out, training, working, doing whatever they took. And now they've really made a name for themselves. Especially Ricky. He really has. And same with Aaron Rourke. He's really come a long way too. But I mean, Ricky, I remember him in, NCW. He was with Cashew. And BRG too. I think they were all part of a trios there or something. And he was he has this pouty face and he has his, his little things, but, he really grew from that. And I've seen him in Chaotic many times. I've seen him come from that. I've seen the fans get behind him. I've seen him out at Rad Pro Wrestling as Andrew, doing even more great character work. So I've seen a lot coming out of Ricky. And Aaron Rourke, too. He's somebody that I've watched a lot in Chaotic. I've seen him in Beyond. I've seen him in other promotions. He just always mesmerizes me. He's very, very exciting wrestler. And I feel like now with the fans behind him even more, he's even more exciting. Like, before he used to come out and do things and fans would boo him and hate him, but now they're like behind him. They really like him. And that makes, even more funner because he can go wild too. And they're both, really good. Him out of Creative Pro though, and, Ricky out of New England Pro Academy. You got, some really good, well-trained wrestlers fighting here. And again, these pick your poison matches, event something special, and we're gonna see a lot of this. More and more of these students. I mean, get to the higher spots and get up there and really work because that's what's happening now. That's the direction the indie scene is really going. And again, Limitless is one of those forerunners where these people are out there. Making moves, not just here, but then they start going internationally, and the prestige just follows along. And like, look at Rip at Bison, look at Perry Von Vicious, look at all these, guys. They've done so much even now overseas. Anthony Green as well. He's come back and forth. We'll probably see him at some point in Vacation Land Cup, maybe. I don't know. But back in Limitless. But you remember, he's been to Japan. He's contracted Noah. He's come back. He's been champion twice. He's done tremendous things for New England. He's done tremendous things for Limitless. These are the guys and girls, that are changing the game out there and changing the standard and changing what pro wrestling can be. And Randy Carver does a great job, too, as well, making what a promotion should be and how it should be ran and what it should look like. And, I've never seen angry or dirty or bad fans, people that are, like, toxic to the wrestling environment. I heard one slur one time in my very history of ever going to all the shows. And honestly, it was probably corrected and taken care of within about 10 minutes on social media. It happened fast. It's not standard for when you walk into those halls. It's a family. Everybody is there. It's not really that cliquey. Everybody talks to you. Everybody's a friend. They're there to support the wrestlers. They're there to support Limitless. They're there to support Randy. They're there to support everything. And that's what I like to see. I really do. Fans there for the right reasons. Not to say, that a lot of fans aren't, but some fans do go, to wrestling promotions. Some promotions have, a group of fans that will go for the wrong reasons, or just to get clout, or just to, talk bad or down talk it. And it's like, we don't need that. When, indie wrestling, it's not like other wrestling. It's not like WWE and AEW, there's not, wrestlers, they only wrestle in one way. When you do that, you hurt the wrestlers because they're the ones that are working multiple promotions. And that's why promotions really shouldn't, be so segregated, I guess. And we saw great examples of, more partnerships and things happening, like the Let's Wrestle, for instance, title. I saw BRG defend that title against Dustin Waller at a Proving Ground show. So, that's really cool. That he was able to, go on that show and defend that title from Let's Wrestle. And it was a very good treat to see that. And we're seeing that more and more in the wrestling industry, where there's more and more collaborations going on and people, and things happening. And honestly, I like that. That's what I think wrestling needs. I don't think it needs to be so secluded, because at the end of the day, the fans, they're going to go and see the wrestlers they like. And the wrestlers, they're going to go to the promotions that they're booked for. But shouldn't make fans have to choose where to go. If you can avoid it, try to have, don't try to, ruin the next man, just let everybody just run. There's plenty of fans and money to be made for everybody. And I always say that. But it's true. It really is. But yeah, I love the way Limitless is. I love the way it's set up. It always has, and I always will. It's just one of those promotions. I remember first seeing it early on and saying, I have to get there, I have to get there, I have to get there. And when I did, or when I tried to, it didn't end up happening. We hit the pandemic, we hit that wall. I would have loved to see the Anthony Green versus Chris Statlander for the Limitless World title, but that never happened. But what we did get was a strong foundation for myself. I started, following their past events, getting caught up, and then they started producing things like Pandemic in the Dojo, and then, The Road, which is just an amazing series of pro wrestling that was taking place on a weekly basis. The stories that were being told on there, the things that were happening on there, it was just tremendous. And honestly, it didn't get better than that. A lot of these stories took place on there. We learned about, all these people. Love Doug was, fighting Aver. We had all these first-time matches. We had students coming and going. We had people learning and getting better and growing. We had people like Becca just who blew up, bigger than the industry ever could get. She I remember seeing it pre-pandemic to post-pandemic. It's like, wow. Oh my God. Not to mention the shows that they were still starting to run monthly when wrestling was, able to start running, even though there was no fans left in. We got to see some great matchups. We got to see, Christian Casanova get the title, after Anthony Green had to vacate it. We got to see Daniel Garcia beat him for that title, and Danny Garcia was probably the best champions, and one of my favorite champions that Limitless had. And when Limitless did come back, it was insane. They didn't announce any matches, nothing. Some names maybe, but no matches. And it was a sold out show. It sold out so fast, front row sold out, and that's one thing, front row sells out in seconds, but the show was a sellout, and it was just out of this world. And then, there was rumors of Anthony Green, because he had just let go. He was coming back. They were toying with that. Who was going to get AG? What was going to happen? And it was wild. And I'll never forget that, that show back. But, I think it was Patience is Virtue, it was called. And you should check that out. It's on IWTV. If you can't make it Saturday night to Yarmouth, Maine, I know there's limited tickets, so if you don't have them and you're not going to get them, you can't get out there, do watch it live on IWTV. You're not going to want to miss it. It's going to be one of those shows that's going to be talked about, and it's going to be the perfect way to lead up into the 2024 Vacation Land Club, which again will be taking place at the Coliseum in Lewiston, Maine. Unprecedented. It's totally unprecedented. I can't wait. Very exciting time. This is going to be, like I said, one of those shows that is going to deliver. And we're going to try to meet up with some of these people, try to get some, answers. I have questions. As always, being a podcaster, being, someone that likes to interview, I always try to interview guys and girls. Not during the show, but, I'll throw them, lines, say, hey, reach out. So, if you're listening and you want to get on the show and you want to promote yourself before, after Vacation Land Cup, or however, you're more than welcome to. I always like to have people come on and talk before the show, especially if they're, gearing up and looking for support going into that event, But yeah, I can't wait for Saturday. I can't wait for Vacation Land Cup. I can't wait for Limitless. The last few shows I haven't been able to get to. It's been a little bit of a while, and I'm just happy to be back. So thank you everybody for listening. Hope you can all, tune in and check it out Saturday night on IWTV. Thank you everybody for watching. Versace Stoner out.